it's just an overnight thing, because tomorrow we have to come back and sleep here.
Là, on est rendu à Eagle Lake, là, avec Imelda Toussaint. Imelda, moi, j'ai de te demander ça, mais
Oui,
I do all the time. Quel âge que t'as?
We're 80. I'm going on 81.
Oh, you're 80 years old, and you
81 in August.
just lost your husband this year?
4 months ago.
4 months ago. Roland Toussaint,
We,
who was how old?
he was 81.
81. Now, Roland was a very popular person in Eagle Lake and the St. John Valley, and so were you.
Yeah.
Now, we're in Eagle Lake on the 27th of June, the year 2008. You live at Crosswinds right now?
Yeah, at the moment, yeah.
And Roland lived there too for a while.
Yes, since last August, June 4 last year.
And where are we in Eagle Lake here? What is this place here?
We're right on a piece of the homestead originally. But this piece of land here was all cedar. It was never developed. And my sister's daughter had been looking for a place to be on the lake, a piece of the homestead, but there was no other places but this left. So she finally got into with the people. She looked a lot around, back and forth, but she couldn't find anything that she liked. And she saw this spot, and was all standing wood like you see over there. And they started doing land, and they got some people and make a nice foundation. Maybe her mom will explain that better than I.
Now,
Yeah.
quand tu dis le homestead, là, toi, là?
This was a piece of the land that included in our farm.
Okay. So this is a cedar home here.
Yeah.
And we look at it, and we've got a beautiful loft. And it's quite, how old is this place? It's not old, eh?
A year ago,
Just a year ago?
yeah, in January, when you're fit.
Oh, c'est beau, c'est...
Ça fait un an, cet hiver, a year this winter.
Now we look at Eagle Lake here. We're on Slybrook Road. Tiens. Now, Imelda, you talk about a homestead. Where does this land come from?
Originally from my grandfather.
C'est lui qui a commencé ça?
What?
He bought that from who?
I don't know if it was, he earned it through a grant for sure, but since 1873.
So we're talking a long time ago.
Yeah.
Probably was a land grant then.
Now, I remember my mom used to tell me that my grandfather was on the other side of the lake, and he saw the point and lots of wood over here, so he says he's going to come and investigate that. So one day he had his horse swim, just holding him by the rein, and he paddled the canoe. His horse swam all the way to this side of the lake, and he started clearing lands. And I think some of it was bought from somebody else, but I know one spot that I think he got it for some kind of a grant because he used it to bring up his family.
So you're saying that your grandfather lived in Eagle Lake, in the town of Eagle Lake, and came across by canoe and had his horse swim next to him.
Yeah.
Je savais pas que des jouets, ça nage, hein?
Yeah.
You know, all animals swim,
I think what he did, he took the shortest cross.
Oh, okay.
You know, the shortest one to cross.
So how much land do you think he had here?
Oh, we had withstanding wood over 300 acres.
300 acres.
Pretty near 350 acres.
And in those days, that wasn't worth much.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, people would say, Larry, why are you going there? You're going to die of hunger. He says, I may die of hunger, but I won't die of thirst because we're near the lake.
Yeah. And Hilaire was his name?
Hilaire Gagnon. Yeah.
Hilaire Gagnon. So let's go back a little bit here. Hilaire Gagnon, so was your grandfather on your mother's side, because you're a Ouellet, huh?
Yes, you're right.
So did he build a house here or something?
Yeah, he built himself a home. I don't know, I don't remember how long it took him, but he had 8 kids at one time, and he lost his wife, and then remarried, and he had 8 more kids with his second wife. There was a family of 2.
C'est Pierre Gagnon, cela.
Hilaire Gagnon. Yeah.
And this is where?
Deux lits, comme on va dire, 2 lits.
2 lits, ouais.
Ouais.
Now, when he moved here, il y avait rien, ça, là.
Standing.
He had to cut all the wood, he
by
had to
hand with his
clear.
horse, yeah.
Il y avait un hack.
In fact, we were all born in that house, right?
Yeah.
In the farmhouse, yeah.
So the big house that became the Clover Hill Lodge, là.
That was built, Mom and Dad.
Okay.
After a while, when the oldest of the family, well, Vino had married the oldest of the girl, and he always had weddings at the house then.
The weddings were at the house?
Yeah, they all had weddings at home in those times. They didn't have a hall or a place that they could go and get married, to my knowledge. And when Roderick talked about getting married, well, Mama thought, it doesn't make sense. The house is too big. It wasn't the farmhouse that my grandfather had built. So one day she decided we're going to build a bigger house. That's what we started Clover Hill Lodge with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And my youngest Thelma, Mama says, I remember, she was just about 2 years old when we moved from the old house to the new house.
Now the new house was bigger?
Yeah, that's what we did, Clover Hill Lodge.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the part we did, Clover Hill Lodge. And we added on to it for a dance hall and a patio and a dining room.
Right.
Yeah.
Clover Hill Lodge. We're going to talk about that later.
Mm-hmm.
But, so here's your grandfather, Hilaire Gagnon,
Oui.
across here with a family of 8 children. No road coming here, though.
No,
So how did they travel by canoe?
by canoe.
Il n'y avait pas de motorboat, là.
No.
Il n'y avait pas de patio boat,
Not my
là.
grandfather. My dad did, but not my
Yeah.
grandfather.
Il n'y avait pas de sidou, là.
No.
Fait que c'était en canot, là.
Canoe. It's canoe.
Yeah, but Eagle Lake is not too wide, so it wasn't that big trip to go to
Well, it
Eagle
doesn't
Lake.
have to be very wide when it's stormy. That's
Yeah.
all you need,
So they took care of themselves. They cut
Yeah.
the wood, they built a
Yeah.
house from the wood.
And he had a little business on his own. He had a few men cutting wood for him. I don't know who he was selling it to, but he had a little kind of a business, Grandpa. But no education at all. But he was bright and he was very, very smart for his own age growing up. And I remember Mama saying he had a few men working under him, and he could not write the name at all, but you would recognize you with a star or a mark or the face of a little mouse or a cat. The laborers, the guy who worked for him,
Okay.
you couldn't write their name, but he knew this mark means you, so you'd write 5. 5 meant 5 hours of the day or whatever.
Next to that symbol.
Yep.
Now the guys who worked for him didn't know how to write either. So they were just like a little symbol that would say,
Right.
okay,
Right.
the cat is me and the mouse
Right.
somebody else.
And
And
he cut some wood far enough in the back that he finally got to where the little red camp is, across from the old sporting camps there.
okay. Oh,
On
yeah.
voit de la rivière à Lec, là.
Yeah.
Remember? Il y a un petit camp rouge à Bec. C'est mon grand-père qui a logé ça. If you ever go by that way, you haven't seen it, just look, it's still there.
Tu parles de la rivière Alec.
La rivière, excuse-moi, la rivière qui va across Lake, Square Lake.
OK, d'être au bout de là-bas, là.
On va te refaire, là.
Ça refaire. Il appelait ça la rivière Alec?
Il y a une rivière à Lec qui est pas loin, il y a un ruisseau, là.
Ah, OK.
Il y a un ruisseau avec ta rive au petit camp, là. C'est direct, je me voisin de ça.
C'est ça qui était la rivière Alec.
Ouais. La
Alec,
rivière qui passe, là, avant que tu arrives au petit camp rouge, là. Il y a une cove, là.
Ouais.
Une rivière, une grosse rivière qui sont là.
Really?
It's good for fishing, yeah.
And it's not the thoroughfare you're talking
No.
about. It's another river that
Before
comes
getting
in.
to the thoroughfare.
Alec, qui ça, do you know? Somebody who settled there.
C'est écrit sur les town map, là.
Ouais.
You got a little one.
So imagine the life now. Your grandfather has 8 kids, and then his wife dies. How did she die? Do you know? No. Then he marries again.
He died first.
Huh?
Grandpa died first.
No, okay, but he had a second wife,
Yes.
and she.
Mom was born to the second wedding.
Okay,
Yeah.
but he had 8 kids again.
Yep.
So he had 16 in all,
Yeah.
and then he died before his second wife did.
Right.
And that was your
My grandfather.
your grandfather.
Mom's daddy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, where do the Willets come in? Ça, c'est des gagnons qu'on parle là.
Ouais, ben Mama married Henry Ouellette. He came from Canada, Baker Lake.
Oh, okay.
And he was working at the mill here in Eagle Lake or somewhere else, I'm not too sure. Then they married. She was only 16, I think, when she married.
Is that right? Your mother, what was...
In those days, they married young.
What was her name?
Phoebe.
Phoebe Gagnon.
Phoebe Philomène Gagnon.
Phoebe Philomène Gagnon.
Yeah.
Married Henri Ouellet.
Henry Ouellet.
And
Came from Black Baker.
you're talking about mills in Eagle Lake. Qu'est-ce que des mills qu'il y avait là?
Il y a Bardou, je pense, c'était là. Shingle Mill.
Shingle Mill.
Yeah.
Now, the hospital that we have now today, that's quite old too, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Is it 100 years old?
I think they celebrated 100 years
Yeah.
last summer.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Last summer.
So already Eagle Lake was quite a place.
Mm-hmm.
They had mills, they had a hospital.
Yeah. You figure that out now. Grandpa married twice. He raised up 16 kids.
Yeah,
These women never been to see a doctor.
yeah.
My mom raised 15 kids. She had them all at the house. Never had a doctor.
It was natural to have children.
Yeah, apparently they were more healthy than we are, I think.
I think so. Now, so your grandfather with 2 wives had 16 children. Then
Yes.
Phoebe, his daughter,
Yeah,
who married at 16, had 15 of her own.
yeah.
Now, how did they live
They lived on the farm.
on the farm here
Yeah.
with
When-
no roads?
No, no road. Probably they could buy a horse and buggy, probably this road, but it was not nice. Many places wasn't nice along the road.
No,
The only outing would be by the lake.
by the lake, by canoe or in
By
the
canoe or in the winter on the ice.
on the
You
ice.
could go with a sleigh horse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Oh,
different.
you know, we didn't think any different.
Yeah.
We were brought up, we were contented with what we have.
Now, your mother and father, Henri Ouellet, they lived in the big house that became the Clover Hill Lodge.
Yeah.
And you were born there, brought
I
up
was
there.
born, brought up there, yeah.
15 of you.
Mm-hmm.
When,
Then one day, Daddy didn't find the strength because he had a heart problem since he was 40. And Mama always was easy on him to help him out, and she took a lot of the chores over to his side, so to preserve him, you know.
yeah,
You had to be careful. And Mama, Roderick, the second one, was going to get married. That house is getting too small, Mom would say. Why don't we build another house? Daddy couldn't see that. He didn't have the courage to. So one day, Mama talked with the neighbors. They all came with horses and stuff, and they pulled the house off the foundation. Once it's off the foundation, there you have to build, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But everything went well after that. The boys went in the woods to work to buy some storm windows, and they were really help. A family, a big family stays together, and they
Yeah.
really did a good
Help each
job.
other.
Yeah.
now what do you mean neighbors? Did you have neighbors on this side of the lake?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you did?
Since I can remember, we had 2 schools, 2 little country schools this side of the lake.
On Slybrook Road?
Yeah.
You had neighbors?
There was one school not far from La Paradina, des
Ouais.
Pointes, là, des blocs. Puis il y en avait un autre, du cycle Malberson, still sur la côte, about a mile down. I graduated the 8th grade here in that little school in 1946.
Really?
1942,
42?
yeah.
2 little schools, 1-room
And
schoolhouse.
this one was Washington School, and the other one down towards placed his was Lincoln School.
Lincoln and Washington.
Yeah.
Couple of popular
Yeah,
names.
popular politics. Yeah, they were, all the grades were in a 1-room schoolhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you walked to the school.
Walked, or if it was stormy, very cold, Dad would drive us with the sled and horses.
Over the snow.
Mm-hmm.
Not too much of a road.
No.
Hey, boys, that's a different life than
There was a
today.
lot of people on this side of the road at one time.
Really?
Yeah,
Way back then.
yeah,
Now, you were born in 1928?
27,
27.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm 80.
80 right now, yeah. Well, listen, while we're here in this beautiful home that is owned by who again?
Eliza Winters from Connecticut.
Okay.
She lives no longer in Connecticut, but her family's in Connecticut. She's now living in Arlington, Virginia.
Virginia.
She works for the state. She works for the World Bank.
World Bank.
That's her daughter, my sister's daughter.
So she would be your niece?
Yes. She's still single, and she helps a lot for her brothers and sisters, yeah. She had another sister and 2 brothers. Nice
Okay.
family, real nice family.
Now, how did she end up building here in Eagle Lake? That's
She
a long
wanted
ways
a
from.
piece of the homestead,
Okay.
and that's the only place that was available. But I never thought, like Roland says, it's going to be a lot of work, Liza. It's clay, it's wet, it's moist, but she says, I want it. She built.
So, as far as the homestead from the Ouellet family, that is your parents and
Yes.
nothing is left of that here now.
No.
Everybody else owns it.
There's only a barn that's left.
Yeah. Well, your son, Ronald.
Ronald is on a piece of land, and Norman has a chunk of land up above too that he lived there for some years.
Okay.
But he's been away for the winter to earn. He does carpentry.
Okay. So, the Ouellet homestead, which was originally, quand les Gagnons avaient ça, 300
Wait.
acres,
Yeah.
we're down to a couple of small lots.
Yes, I know.
And this one here, that Liza Winters
If
built.
I remember right, I think Mom and Dad took over. They married in 1907,
Your parents,
Mom and Dad.
1907.
Yeah. And they farmed for 40 years.
She was 16.
Yeah. They started bringing up the family. In fact, there was Grandpa and Grandma, before they built the big house, though,
Yeah.
there was not too much room for a big family, but we managed. So when Mama was taking care of Grandpa and Grandma, one of Grandpa's aunts separated from her husband, and she came to live with her brother. That was Aunt Clarissa. And she lived with her brother for some years.
In your house,
Yeah, in Mama's house.
Mama's house.
As you get off from the kitchen and the living room, as you go in, it was like a lean-to that was added on to the side of the house. As you walked in, there was like a little buck stove. Grandpa and Grandma's house was room was on the right, and Aunt Clarissa, her room was on the left. But Grandpa was the first to go. And Grandma moved in the new house. She
Okay.
died in the new house.
Remember the year the new house was built about?
Oh, she was a year old. Hello, Thelma.
75,
75.
Yeah.
And she was
a year and a half.
a year and a half when she moved into the new house.
Okay. So that's 74 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a break here and see if we have any. Maybe pick. Why don't we introduce me to your sisters, and I'll talk to each one of them for a little while.
Okay.
You just happened to be on the 27th of June all together,
Yeah.
which doesn't happen too often.
No, every year we managed to do that for some years. We call themselves our Golden Girls.
Golden
So
girls.
this is Sister Gloria.
Okay.
She's a nun, retired, and she lives in Bay St. Paul.
Franciscan nuns.
Yeah, she loves to come visit us. And next one in line is Cynthia.
Okay.
Her daughter owns this place here.
Okay.
Cynthia Winters.
Liza Winters is your daughter.
Yes.
Okay. Puis,
And this is Thelma from Ashland. That's the baby sister.
she's the baby.
Un bébé, hein?
Un gros,
Un bébé.
un gros bébé.
Yeah.
Well, there were 16, right? 15. So you're number 15.
There's Gloria, the nun next to her, and there was a boy. He died a long time ago.
Well, why don't we have you change chairs with Sister?
Okay.
First of all, maybe to help, because Imelda told us if there were some little loopholes, we could add to it.
Yeah.
I think that Grandpa Gagnon they both came, my dad and Gagnon and Willette, from Canada.
Okay.
At that time, people would come in from Canada because they did not have work. And they'd come over here and land would be given to them for them to clear the land. And Granddad Gagnon had quite a few boys. So I presume that's the way the land was cleared.
Okay, so he didn't have money to buy it.
I have
It was
no
a
idea,
grant.
but from what I know, this was the practice that the people from Canada
Yeah,
would come over and they'd be given land and they'd clear it.
yeah,
And it would become their own because the purpose was to get more people, inhabitants
yeah.
in the country.
And the
That
farmers.
came in from, Pépère Gagnon came in from La Malbaie. I don't know if it's in Canada, beyond Bay St. Paul.
Yeah.
And Grand-Père Ouellette came in from La Pocatière.
I think a lot of us came in from La
Yeah.
Pocatière.
They had settled at Baker Lake, and they had the mill here, the shingle mill, and Dad was one of the people that came to work there. And Mama, who was 17 then, she was a server on the table. She was a waitress,
Oh,
and that's how they met.
so she was a waitress where?
They had a boarding house for the men who were working
Okay.
at the shingle mill.
All right.
And the men who stayed there, of course, were served their meals.
Okay.
And Dad was one of the guys that came over to work, and
Do,
that's how we
do you
met.
know who owned that mill, or?
I have no idea.
But they had a lot
I
of.
really knew it because it was out before
Yeah.
he built another one.
We're talking 100 years ago.
Oh, yeah,
You
for
know
sure.
where the marina is? That's
Yeah.
where I did. That's where
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah. So, and this mill, and they had quite a few mills in Eagle Lake.
Yeah.
Now there's none, but there were quite a few. Employed a lot of people.
It did, it did.
And
Now, that's as far as I can say about that because of the history of our family.
yeah,
Back also, just as a little skip to the hospital. The hospital in Eagle Lake, when our sisters were founded in 1889 in Worcester, Massachusetts, they were then transferred to Bay St. Paul. And from Bay St. Paul, the pastor had a friend who was pastor in Wallagrass.
oh,
Wallagrass, Maine. And he wanted teachers because the families weren't poor, but they didn't have the necessities we have today. So he called the pastor, who was also our founder, and that's how we first came to the States. Wallagrass was our very first mission.
before Fort Kent.
Oh yes, definitely.
Isn't that something?
Wallagrass. 6 sisters came to teach there. And shortly, I think that was in 1906
Okay.
or 1902. In a few years, we had Wallagrass, Eagle Lake, and then Fort Kent. But what happened is that the pastor who was pastor in Wallagrass had a friend who was here in Eagle Lake. I can't remember what the name was, but anyway, because of all the lumberjacks and all the lumber work and the accidents around the area, he wanted to build a hospital. So
Okay.
the sisters came here. He built a hospital, and the sisters came here. I believe it was in 1906 in Eagle Lake.
We're talking that the hospital in Eagle Lake was started by the Franciscan
Right.
sisters.
It wasn't built,
No.
but we came to service it.
Okay.
And a couple of years after that is where Fort Kent was opened up.
So Fort Kent was third on the list.
Yeah, it was fourth, really. The third place to open up was Auburn, Maine.
Oh, so Wallagrass was the first one.
Right, our very first mission.
Now, the Franciscan sisters were just started in 1889
That's right.
in Bay St. Paul, you said?
It started in Worcester.
in
We
Worcester.
claim we're an American-founded community.
Okay. Then it moved to Canada,
Uh-huh.
Malbaie.
No, to Bay St. Paul.
Bay St. Paul, yeah.
Grand-Père Gagnon came from the Malbaie.
Okay, that's right, yeah. Now, you were part of a big family. How did you get into,
The order?
yeah, you decided to become a nun?
That's the Lord's call. Well, it was during the war, not that it affected anything, but anyway, I was quite socially active. I loved to dance. We went to parties. It was during the war, but and I enjoyed life very much. But then I went to work at the hospital.
In Eagle Lake?
Yeah, as Well, we were doing really almost the nursing part. We weren't qualified, but they were taking girls to help on the floors to clean up the hospital and also serve the patients. I was there about a year, and I just felt I had the call. And it's just like when you choose your wife, you know you choose the person that's going to be your other part of the life. And so that's how when we get a call, we're as secure with it as you are when you decide to have a joint life or whatever.
You feel like this is it? And
Yeah, that's reassured. And I entered in 1944.
now, this dancing and all that, where was that? In Wallagrass? Or?
No. We
Placed
had
it?
here what we called, I think,
Silver slippery.
no, huh?
Silver slipper.
MP Blanchette, the Roosevelts, the Birdies. Of course, you don't know Eagle Lake, so on the corner of, there's a store there right now, isn't it?
Spanana.
Yeah,
Silver slipper?
Silver Slipper. It was just a little dance hall, was next to this store. Well, Eagle Lake was populated. We had families there.
Yeah.
And we had grocery stores, and Ernie Michaud we had grocery stores and all kinds of things. We had the school there that our sisters taught at the school. And we had this little dance hall that we went to every Saturday or during the week. And there was also Martin, what was Martin's name? George Martin. He also had a dance hall.
So Eagle Lake was alive then?
Oh yeah, definitely alive.
Il y avait des affaires là.
Right. And just to, as a sideline, Mama was the first woman to be on the, it's not the parish council, what do you call those?
Government.
Town council.
Town council.
It's all in the book.
De ce temps-là, là, il y avait... Eagle Lake had a hospital, had dance halls, had grocery stores, had mills.
Oui.
It was probably twice the population that they have now. Huh? What do you think?
Oh, definitely. I think for all the places along the road, we've all kind of gone down, but now coming up because people are coming back.
People are coming back. Now, Plaisted, do you remember anything about Plaisted? I remember there was a dance hall in Plaisted. That little Marnie's in Plaisted. You don't remember that? That's after you, I think, because I went there. So, yeah. Mais il n'avait de la vie.
So it was very much alive. Well, our sisters were the first educators to come to northern Maine.
1902.
Either 1902, I know one of the places was 1906. I think it was probably Fort Kent.
Yeah.
But in that area.
Yeah. Because in Saint Agathe, in 1904, the Dames de la Sagesse came, see? And that, you know, we're thankful that they came because on ne savait pas lire encore, see? So it was very important for us up here to...
So that's really how we started as sisters to come over in this area of the country. And it became a very active part for us because we had sisters in Auburn too, but especially in this area.
Yeah.
And then from the school and the involvement of the area and everything, PSGI wanted to build a hospital.
In Fort Kent.
Too many mothers, right, Fort Kent, too many mothers were dying at childbirth. So that's how the hospital in Fort Kent was built.
Excuse-moi, the sisters that started the hospital in Fort Kent were Franciscans too.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're very involved in this area, the Franciscans. Not in St. Francis, nobody ever went there? Il n'y a pas de couvent St. Francis, Maine, no?
Not that I knew.
No.
No.
Parce qu'à Frenchville, à Saint-Luce, there was another group of sisters there.
But for our home family here, we were 15 children, but I don't know if we ever were only 15 because our house, the first one that Mel was talking about where we were all born, it wasn't a large house, but it really had life in it. Quand il y avait des veillées le soir, là, des veillées de famille, des veillées, people would come and Dad played the violin.
Really?
So they'd come to our house and have parties, and I still remember one year, You know, there was a store,
Milton.
what was his name? Milton Tucker?
Clothing store.
Where was that?
Right across the lake.
In Eagle Lake?
Oh,
They had
sure.
a clothing
This
store?
is the thing, we're just dropped there.
J'en du linge pour les hommes, là.
Voyons donc.
Wine and clothing store.
Oh, yeah, we had two clothing stores.
C'est vrai qu'Eagle Lake was
Grocery store. Yeah, grocery store, Tucker avait.
Tucker.
Yeah, it was right on Main Street.
You never heard of that.
C'est la place ici, Camille Pelletier, il y a un set de junk.
Ah, OK.
Magasin.
Ouais.
There was a barber shop.
Now,
And I remember as a little girl, one night he was the entertainer.
Tucker.
Milton Tucker, right. So that was especially in the wintertime when the lake froze.
Yeah.
They would cross over easily. And
Yeah.
But we had a very active life. It was, people would come to visit, they'd stay over, and
Yeah.
they'd stay over, and Mom never complained about the cooking. And I remember summertime when it was very hot days and Mom used the big bread. Otherwise, we'd have flies.
Yeah.
You know what that is?
Yeah.
The stove was
And
hot.
on the weekends, Mama would make large pans of bread so she wouldn't have to be over the stove on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember that our cousins from Madawaska would come in and they'd say, "Ma tante fait nous dans le stupid éblois." And she would never complain. I don't remember once that Mama complained.
With a-
All
with
the
a-
work they had to do.
With a family of 15.
Oh yes, definitely.
Now, I hear that a lot, and in those days, people would drop in your house,
Yeah.
and you'd feed them,
Sure.
and they might sleep there.
Oh, yes.
Huh?
Il y avait-
Imagine.
Il y avait des passeux, des vendeurs, là, c'était les places chez nous, s'accrocher. Je trouvais une place à manger puis coucher.
So a salesman would drop in your house, and you'd keep them overnight. Ça a-tu du bon sens?
We had 8 bedrooms upstairs.
Puis vous,
We had 8 bedrooms
at an interruption, the phone rang. You never saw a phone on this side of the lake for a long time.
upstairs.
Yeah, as far as the road goes too, we'd go to school, we'd walk down. It went around the lake. Il y avait ce qu'il y avait the screen. People would cross over there, but we had roads and they were
The
open.
screen, ça, là, c'est le bout du lac, ça, had the Fish River, là.
Yes.
Now, what was that for? Là?
I have no idea. It was there when I grew up and that was it.
And you could cross on that?
I don't know the people did, but I've never
You never did.
known about it, no.
So they'd come from Slybrook Road and cross into Plaisted on that
If they
screen.
did, it would have been on foot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
But for the roads, they were pretty good. We had the school down the road. We had quite a few neighbors. And the roads were always kept open in the wintertime because we went to school. And when it was stormy, well, Dad would drive us over.
So how far was it to walk to school from?
A mile.
Just 1 mile, okay. Now, your sister Gloria,
Sister
Willette,
Gloria Willette.
and you're younger than Imelda.
I'm older.
You are? So Imelda, I thought you were the oldest one.
I was in 25, she's in 27.
Okay, so you're 82,
83.
83.
Yeah, and I'm happy for the years I've lived. I
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah.
shrink back.
That way you look very healthy.
I enjoyed every bit of it. I spent my life, 22 years of my life in Fort Kent teaching. Then I did some supervising in the district. And my name when I first started was Sister Mary Annunciation.
In Fort Kent?
I was in 1950.
That's where you started teaching, was in Fort Kent?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I went to school at St. Joseph's College in Portland. Now it's in North Windham.
Okay.
And then I went to the Jesuit College in Boston. That's where I got my master's in psychology. And I went 16 years in South Carolina as a missionary in the school and then founding a parish. So that's my little bit of a story.
Now, was that after you went to Fort Kent?
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I went to South Carolina in 1971.
Okay.
I was there 16 years and then I came back to Fort Kent. I was here 10 years. I was read to hear about Bim, his accident, because I got his children in school and everything.
Oh, you did, huh?
I've known the people in Fort Kent more than my own family because I spent many years of my life there, at least 30 years of my life.
When did you get done teaching there? 62, you said?
Yeah, 1971. Well, I did some, about 1965, Kelly, who was superintendent.
Right, Paul Kelly.
Asked me to replace Guy
Baker.
as a supervisor of the school.
Oh, okay.
So I did supervision of SED 27 for 5 years.
Okay.
It's from there that I left to go to South Carolina.
As a missionary.
Yeah, as to sustain a school that was just about to close. So 4 of us went down to continue the school, and then from there we went to another parish, St. Michael's, to initiate a completely new parish, a founding of a new parish. And I loved every minute of it. Then I came back here. I was in Calais 3 years, Calais, Maine.
What's over in Calais?
The Mercy Sisters had been there some 30 years or so, and they had left. And the pastor there wanted someone to come and initiate a program, a CCD program, because the children had no more religion and everything. So I went there to organize a program for them. I was there 3 years, and then I came to Fort Kent 10 years.
Okay.
And then I went to Bay St. Paul to help take care of our elderly sisters.
Okay.
But now I'm just retired.
You're still in Bay St. Paul.
I am. Mm-hmm.
Did you know Father Donald Nicknair?
You gotta be kidding. We're the same age. We're about 4 days difference.
Really?
We're just across the lake. We know the nicknames very well.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
were
yeah.
always at our
We have a
house.
sister
You
married to a
were
sister.
always at our house, remember the whole family?
I think the Nicknairs have 3 priests in their family, and they're from Eagle Lake.
2 nuns.
2 nuns?
We have a brother married to a sister.
Bernice
Bernice.
our sister-in-law.
Oh, yes, yes.
She's married to
Patrouillette.
My brother.
Now, I went to St. Francis High School in Biddeford, see.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and there were four Franciscans from the valley. Father Laplante from Soldier Pond,
Oui.
Father Audebert from Fort Kent, Father Thibodeau from Fort Kent,
Mhm.
and il y avait un autre là. Donald Nicknair, yeah. And they were just beginning. They were brand new priests. Nicest people in the world.
Now, Donald's name was Lionel.
Okay, I didn't know.
Unit. That's
Okay.
how we knew him.
Then I know that he was in Bay St. Paul, and it's probably
He
still
was
there.
there, I think, 3 years as chaplain.
So where is he now?
In Montreal at their infirmary.
Okay.
No.
And Sunday, they're celebrating the 29th, which is in 2 days, of June 2008. They're celebrating the transfer of the Diocese of Quebec to the Diocese of Boston in St. Louis. This week is a Garrett celebration family. Dans le Festival Acadien de Madawaska. And I think St. Louis is the oldest church in the valley. It's either here or St. David, but I think it's St. Louis.
Is that Frenchville, St. Louis?
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was. They served the whole area down.
Yeah.
And then...
Like Fort Kent was a mission. St. Louis was the parish.
That's exactly true.
So I think it was 1843 that we belonged to the Quebec Diocese, and we had the Ashburton Treaty, so Frenchville was not in Canada anymore, and the Quebec bishop transferred the parish of St. Louis to the Diocese of Boston. There was no diocese in Portland then. So Sunday morning at 9 o'clock, they're having this celebration of this Mass, and they're gonna dress up in the period costumes and everything. And Father Nicknair, Leopold, is going to represent the American side, and Monsignor Thibodeau, or Bishop Thibodeau from Edmundston, is going to represent the Canadians. That's in 2 days.
Where is the celebration?
St. Louis, Upper Frenchville.
Oh.
If you're around, you should come and see that.
But you know, you see 1943.
1843.
Oh, yeah, because 1943, I was going to say,
Yeah.
we were all organized by then.
No, maybe I said 1943,
Oh,
but I
I
meant
misunderstood.
1843 when they transferred that. Now, I've been studying the life of St. Francis lately,
Oh, he's a great guy.
and it's amazing, what he did. But he started or somebody started with him, the Poor Clares, which was not the St. Clare's.
Yes, St. Clair.
They're not the same thing as you there.
No, we're in the order of service. The Poor Clares are
Cloistered.
cloistered.
Yeah.
And of course they've changed a lot of things, but after St. Francis got initiated in his own life, Claire was a very rich daughter of a very rich family, and she wanted to become a religious. There was no religious at that time, and she wanted to really live the life of St. Francis. So on a Palm Sunday morning, you'll read all that in her story, which is very, very good. She dressed up as richly as she could to go to Mass, and the bishop gave her palm, and in the afternoon or the evening, they had a secret passage in their house, and through that secret passage, she went to St. Francis and the friars, and that's how she started the Poor Clare story.
Now, they were talking about 1200.
Yeah.
1200. The 13th century.
Well,
Early 1200s, I think.
very early.
So, but you are not same thing, the
No,
Francis.
I'm a Franciscan, what we call the third order.
Okay.
The first order is the OFM, Order of Franciscan Men,
Yeah.
and the second order would be the Sisters St.
Okay.
Clare.
Okay.
And we're the third order, we are the service people.
Okay. Now, OFM, c'est là, priests and brothers both?
Oui.
Parce qu'à Bedford, là, high school, il y avait des prêtres, il y avait des frères.
No, I said, that's minor. Ordre des Frères Mineurs, OFM.
Okay.
OFM, Order of the Minor Franciscans.
Okay.
Our title is the Little Franciscans of Mary. There's a tendency, like St. Francis he didn't want to be a grand guy, he didn't want to impose, he was a very simple person. So the minor meant that they were not a superior grand family of service.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened to us when we were founded, because we picked up the name Little. Doesn't refer to size.
Les petites franciscaines.
Oui.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to see you're back in the area and you visit once in a
Oh
while.
yeah, I come on vacation.
How many left in your family of 15? Is this it?
Yeah, there were 7 boys and 8 girls, and all the boys are gone,
Okay.
and 4 of the girls are gone, and the 4 youngest of the girls, the last ones in the family.
The cream of the crop.
This is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
On va parler un autre là.
Oui.
Thank you,
Thank
sister.
you.
Home here that I need to take a look at it. It's only 1 year old. Here we are in the loft. Tout est fait avec du bois, une belle cheminée. Look at that. Here we see Eagle Lake. We're on Slybrook Road, close to where the Clover Hill Lodge was. We're here with the mother of Liza Winters, who built this place just a year ago. Hey, c'est vraiment beau, ça. Les chambres, tout ça. Huh.
There's 2 bedrooms upstairs, there's a bathroom.
Huh. C'est pas beau, un peu.
Children's room.
It's only 1 year old, you said, huh?
Yeah, they finished it. Well, they're not quite finished. They still have odds and ends to finish off. But the thing is, we wanted it finished for the family reunion last summer. And these guys worked all winter on the roof. It was 10 degrees below and they were working.
So you had a family reunion last year?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Le bel escalier qui est ici. Screen porch. large screen porch. Door opens here. Everything is screened. And then over here has a large patio. Look at that. It's bewerkstelligd. This was carved out of the woods here. We've got mostly cedar trees around here. These are all cedar. There's a birch, but most of these trees are cedar. So this was a swamp. Eagle Lake is not a wide lake. It's about a quarter mile, I think, maybe half a mile wide. See, these are all cedars here. Most of them. Cedar, cedar, cedar. And on the 27th of June, 2008, 65 degrees. We haven't seen the sun in a long time, but I think it's coming out slowly. Tomorrow's supposed to be nice. Oh, so this is like the basement here.
Yes.
It's
There's still a lot of things that need to be done.
Yeah, well, it's brand
We
new.
were in a hurry to get the place ready for the family reunion last year, and of course the children, the grandchildren, the nieces and nephews come from all over. So she hurriedly put a bunch of things together, told the carpenter, the builder, to do what he could until the time came, and there's still a few odds and ends to do.
Well, this is brand new.
We're very happy the way things are.
See, boom. You won't be bothered with the flood here because you're...
No, we've already checked it out. With all the flooding there was outside the building, this was a swamp, by the way, you know that, don't
Yes,
you?
I mentioned that a while ago. Somebody told me. That's why there's so much cedar, huh?
Yeah, so everything is arranged for, it's a winterized building, and everything is arranged for in case of any emergency, electricity goes out, the telephone calls her up and at work in Washington or Virginia, wherever she is, and the telephone will call another number, and then they will call Doc in Fort King because he handles all
Okay. Degalore.
the heating, yeah. And the telephone does that by itself, and then somebody comes and take care of it. So, you know, because we're not always here in the winter.
Yeah.
I come because I love it. I grew up here, so
Yeah.
this is,
This is your home.
it's my childhood all over again.
Yeah.
You know, I love it.
Now, je m'en rappelle pas que je voulais dire là. Okay, your daughter Liza, she works for the World Bank.
Yes, she used to work for Senator Lieberman. She worked for him for about a year or so, straight after college. When he first was elected, she worked for him for quite some time, and she loved it there because he's a very nice man.
Yeah.
But then the World Bank came along, and the money has something to do with it.
Of course.
Yeah. And ever since then, which is over 10 years now, she's been working with the World Bank in different departments. She was a consultant to India for many years, and that was a problem at times, you know. It's a country with a lot of problems.
A million people. A billion people.
Yeah.
A billion people
She
in
put
India.
together a magazine if you want to take a look at it.
Oh, yeah?
And it took her a year to do that. That was a job she was doing for she worked for the Nature Conservancy before, but that was a job she was doing for the World Bank because she was a consultant. She would spend 2 or 3 weeks there every month, you know, come on for a week or so and go back. But she does come to visit in Plainville to get away from everything. She'd kind of fly over like every weekend to visit with nieces and nephews, my other daughter's children, and
In Plainville, Connecticut?
yeah, to get it, yeah, because now we live in Simsbury. But she spent a lot of time being with the family because that's the whole thing to us.
Yep.
Is family life. Like I come here, I was not aware that she was looking for a property on this land because this is where we grew up.
Yeah.
And she was looking everywhere. Then she says,
somebody's trying to sell a piece of property that they bought on the old farm. And I says, yeah, I didn't want to push it, but I got all excited inside because I missed the old farm. The old barn is still there.
Yeah.
That was our playground, by the way.
The barn.
We used to hang on ropes, swing on a rope. We used to hide in the hay. We used to climb up on the rafters, get scared, and then the big brothers would have to come and take us off. I knew I was petrified one time.
But you had
Doing
fun.
what I shouldn't have done. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And the neighbors' kids came from was a mile away, and we
Well,
had a lot of
listen,
good
while
times
we
over there.
while we have you here, we might as well establish who
Yes,
you are.
please. Yes, I'm Cynthia Winters.
Cynthia.
Willett. Yes, Cynthia Willett originally.
Winters.
Yes, now I'm Winters, and I have 4 children, and they all live in Connecticut except Elizabeth, who's my second youngest, right, Tomo?
And she's the one who built this
Yeah,
here.
yeah. She works all kind of crazy hours. She'll work like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
She flies here and there, but she has her laptop, and she works, which
Well,
I'm not happy about, but it's none of my business.
well, it's
you know?
it's the way
So
the
this is her place where nobody can bother her, even if the phone rings or she brings her laptop here too. But when she's here, she's not in the house. Thelma has seen her. She's outside
yeah
pulling branches off the ground,
yeah.
burning branches, raking the yard, walking up in the swampy area, looking at the trees, because some trees are gone from the flood and they have to be replaced.
Although she never
loves
really
it, you
she
know?
never lived here.
No, but she used to come visit every summer when we were kids. We used to stay at Thelma's camp in St. Freud with Thelma's kids. So my kids had this closeness of the family with the other cousins, with my sister's
Yeah.
children. And I was so glad when she decided to build here, because this is right the center of where these children also, the grandchildren grew up, the nieces and nephews, because they all come to visit for the family reunion.
Yeah.
So now we all have a place to go to hang around. There's plenty of room for the kids to walk around. And the lake is a nice place for swimming. And
Now, how successful was your family reunion last summer?
it was quite successful. Was it last summer or summer before, Tomo? 2 years ago? We used to have it every year, and now it's getting pretty hard. Some of the children are living so far away. It's gotten down to the nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
And they live all over the country. And
So they
it's
came
hard.
here.
Yeah. Many of them came. I think we were close to 100 and something. Usually we were more than that. But now with everybody married and having kids of their own and their own responsibility, it's
Yeah.
not easy for them to just drop everything and come to the family reunion, but they'll call, they'll send cards, and we
Did
all
you,
try to keep in touch. We all
Did
try
you
to
have
keep in touch.
family reunions when the Clover Hill Lodge was going on?
Not so much. We did have Mom and Dad's 50th anniversary or 60th wedding anniversary, but as we were growing up, we had a family reunion every year anyway.
Oh,
There wasn't too many nieces and nephews then, but we have pictures of the family reunions from those days. Once every summer, the whole family would try to get together. So it was a thing that was started by my mother a long, long time ago. And as we were bringing up our own children, we never had too much of a chance to come to family reunions. But after our children were kind of grown up, we started doing it again. And it's terrific,
Yeah.
because we meet kids we never knew before, and they're relatives, they're our blood relatives. And
yeah.
we really have a good time. And we're trying to do it now. It's hard to travel for a lot of families, so we're trying to do it like maybe every 3 years or something like that, you
Yeah.
know? And we rent a place and singing and dancing, and anybody does whatever talent they want. It gets pretty hilarious at
Yeah.
times, but we have fun. We have
Yeah.
fun, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about or anything. We're just silly. We
Of
laugh
course,
at ourselves.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, we learn to do
Now
that.
you're number what? Never 15, though?
I'm number 14.
14, and
Tom was the tail end. We
so
like to
the
tell
4
Tom.
girls that are here today are the youngest 4.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, except there was one boy in between who passed away. But we're the last
Yeah.
of the four.
All the boys are gone.
Yeah, 4 of the girls.
And you had how many boys? 7?
There were 7 boys and 8 girls.
Oh, okay.
And plus the relatives that my mother took care of.
Oh, yeah.
But we grew up with people around all the time, and it was always, like I say, it was always kind of a happy place in spite of the problems,
Yeah.
the illnesses. But being a religious person like my mother was, she always helped us to understand
Yeah.
people, understand,
Yeah.
and say a prayer. And like I say, she was very religious and caring, and she took care of problem boys during school summers, that somebody would send their child here for the summer to play on the farm or whatever they wanted to do. There was always a house full of people. It was never just us.
Oh, okay.
It was always,
Oh, that's quite something.
yeah, my mother was a very, she was also she had a vision that someday, there was like, we lived over around up there. There was a neighbor half a mile away. The school was a mile away. The next neighbor was about a mile and a half away. So this was all stretched out along this road, right? And Mama had a vision that someday there would be as many people, if not more, living on this side of the lake as there was on the other side. And nobody would understand that because there was no telephone, there
Yeah.
was no electricity. We had gas lamps.
Gas lamps.
Yeah. That was a big tall lamp on this side with little white pockets hanging, and you would turn the key where the gas would go in the little like cotton pockets, and you'd hold the match and those little white pocket, and that would make a very nice light.
Now, how old are you?
I was 77 last week.
77.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
so you remember having no electricity, no
Oh,
nothing?
yeah,
See?
yeah. We didn't have any electricity until the Clover Hill Lodge was built.
Wow.
And no telephone. But we never missed it.
Yeah.
We enjoyed our life. We'd go for walks in the woods a lot. Of course, we'd fight a lot too, but we would play in that barn like it was a playground.
Playground.
Yeah. There was horses. We'd ride horses. The old horses that were too big, too old, too tired to work, they were our horses.
Yeah.
We would ride on them. And
Did your parents, your father, grow potatoes?
my father had a bad heart most of his life. Mama was the one in charge, and Dad loved to hunt and fish. And then with the big brothers, we grew potatoes, just 20-something acres, I guess. And my mother had a garden that was maybe like from here to the lake. It was more like a half-acre or quarter-acre garden.
Hey, boys.
And she used to in the fall, give away a whole barrel of turnips. I remember because we used to drive the horse to some of the neighbors further away with a lot of kids. Whole barrel of cabbage, corn, carrots, a couple of barrels of potatoes to help them through the winter. And my mother was a midwife.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. She delivered, I forget if it's 38 or 48 babies, and every time she did, she never got anything in return. That was not her way of doing things. She would give them something, like I remember they would butcher a pig or a beef or whatever, and she would give them a whole hind of the animal, a big chunk of, what do you call it? A whole quarter?
Right,
the
quarter,
leg,
right.
or she would give them a bunch of chickens already clean and whatever. And she used to sell chicken. Do you remember? No, you're not from Eagle Lake. You wouldn't remember a restaurant in town. And Ernie Michaud used to buy her chickens every weekend to sell to people. We used to hatch chickens. We had a hatching table. You're not familiar with it?
Me.
Okay. A hatching table is like a table that was this thick. And there was trays in there, like trays, 4 trays of 100 eggs each. Okay? She had a special little house for that. And the hatching table had pipes going alongside of it, tiny pipes,
for water to go in, the only way that was kept warm was by a kerosene lamp. Attached to the front, we got that in Cicero book, I don't know where. And lighting up that lamp, keeping it lit and kerosene in it was the only thing that would warm up the water enough to a degree. She had a little thermometer in there. And that's the way the eggs were kept warm, no matter what kind of weather. She'd go up there, right up the hill here, and check to see that the thermometer inside, because it was a glass on top, make sure the temperature was proper for the eggs to hatch. So this was something, I was always so amazed. I'm so glad my daughter built this place.
Yes,
because
you're back
I was
home.
always so amazed the way my mother did things, the way things happened, the way things were done. And that old barn over there, I miss it. I come here and it's still there and I'm happy.
Yeah.
Now, when it goes, I don't know.
I hope it
gonna
stays,
be.
huh?
Yes, the gentleman who was going to take it away, I had asked him for a piece of it, a little piece of board to save as a souvenir.
Now,
And he says you can
who
take-
owns it now? C'est pas Ronald?
No,
No.
I don't know who it is. That property belongs to somebody else, but a gentleman had bought the barn and he was going to move it away, is
Okay.
what I was told. I
Okay.
don't know. I don't live around here. But
Yeah.
anyway, he says, yeah, you can have a couple of boards, it's all right. And I says, I'll wait till you take it out and I'll come and get some.
Well, I'm glad it's
But
still
I heard the
here.
gentleman passed away.
Oh, I see. Well, thank you.
And I'm the youngest of the family.
Thelma
Yes.
Ouellette.
Thelma Ouellette. Thelma Corinne Ouellette.
Puis c'est plus Ouellette, là.
No, c'est Saucier.
Saucier, okay.
Ouais, Morris Saucier was my husband. And I think we had a very, very colorful life being raised on this side of the lake. I think we did. Like they said earlier, we had a one-room schoolhouse. We'd walk to school. And the days that we did not come home for lunch, my mother would send us lunch. Dans le chariot de graisse, là,
Ouais.
That grace,
Oh, yes,
that was
yes,
a
yes,
lunchbox. Elle nous mettait des patates là-dedans, puis je m'en rappelle le poisson qu'elle faisait cuire, parce que des ploys.
C'était tout chaud, ça, là?
From here to there, là, ça fait une petite. Puis elle mettait les fourchettes, là. Fait qu'on mangeait tout dans le même chariot.
Oh.
Tu comprends-tu, là? Yes.
So you were more than one in that school from your
Oui, on
family.
était plusieurs. Quand elle était.
From the baby to the eighth
On
grade.
était, on veut dire, at one time, lui, là.
Your family in that school, you were all there. You met,
20 some, I would say 20, 25.
Oui, mais disons, at one
yeah, but
time.
your family.
At one time,
Yeah,
une
5 or
famille.
6 kids.
Moi,
5 or
puis
6
Cynthia, puis
kids
Ernie,
at a
peut-être Sab et nous autres, at the same time, là.
Yeah, I graduated in 1946 there.
OK, and,
And
all right.
Eighth grade.
Fait qu'on était, elle était pas, là. On était 5, on était 4 at the same time. Fait qu'on
4-5 là, from this family that went to
At
school
the same
a
time.
mile away.
Donc, tout était là, mais au même temps, parce qu'on était
Ouais.
proches aussi.
Ouais,
hein.
ouais.
En tous les cas, that's what it was. We graduated from there. And l'été, là, on ramassait des fraises. On ramassait des fraises. On ramassait des framboises. Des nabos sauvages dans chaque patate.
Right.
L'automne, il y avait des patates à ramasser.
Il y avait des noisettes pour ça.
Des noisettes, you're right.
Y avait-il des bleuets, tout?
Il y avait un petit peu passé pour dire la
No.
peine, no. But we had, I think it was wonderful. I remember Cynthia and we'd get into a homemade boat, flat bottom boat, and we'd go, I think it was, I would dare say it's probably right here, where there was clay in the lake. Do you remember that?
Sure, on the
We
shore.
would get clay and would make our little dishes, little dishes, cups,
Clay.
yeah.
Oh, vous vous amusez avec ça?
Well, wait, on faisait,
here on
we'd
the
do that,
shore,
and yeah, and that was our dishes to play house, you know.
It's like Play-Doh today.
Yes,
You had your own Play-Doh.
we would dry that, and that would be our dishes to play house.
Now, would that dry enough that it would stay like that?
Yes.
Well, we never really used it for food.
No, but I mean,
Oh, yes.
it wouldn't fall apart unless
No.
unless you threw
Ça
it.
restait, yeah, really,
Cook it on a tomato can with a little fire under it.
ça venait du, oui, it was a plate, and it was a cup, and it was a bowl, and
That you made from
that we
clay
made.
that came from the
Yes,
lake.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we used to. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. What else did we do?
You didn't have to go to Walmart to buy that.
No. It's we used to have a swing in the barn with a great big boom cable. It was not metal. It was a rope. A rope.
Okay.
On the swing down, and we used to enjoyed a lot our pastime. We
Yeah.
got the barn and swing, and it would wear after a while. That would wear off. There'd be just a piece. Not my father. He did not want us to use the swing, the rope, but we did when we go to town with the newspaper. We'd ask my brother to go put that up, and we'd swing.
Yeah.
Well, eventually there was just enough rope for one strand. We'd tie a burlap bag full of straw, and we would swing like Tarzan there.
So we could put it behind our legs.
It was a lot of fun.
Nobody ever got hurt?
Yes, she fell one trip.
My mother doesn't know that. Ernie broke his arm.
Ernie broke his arm, but you know what?
You
That's
mean
life.
on the swing?
You know,
Yeah.
that's life.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the oldest sister who worked in Bangor bought us a bicycle. Now there was 4 of us on that bicycle. Do you remember the bicycle? No? Then there was, we learned how to ride a bicycle, 4 of us. We'd take turns. Can you imagine? One bicycle. 4 of us would take turns. Now today the kids got to have each their own, of course,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
C'est pas encore assez pour qu'il y ait d'autres choses, puis d'autres choses.
Mais the roads, I'm trying to think when your grandfather built here, or he moved here, there were no roads. When did you have enough road that you could ride a bike?
I don't know, but like I was saying earlier, I don't remember when the road was built, but I remember having a road. So much so that a car could travel on it.
A dirt road,
A dirt road.
all the
When-
way here.
When that came about, I don't know.
Now, was this the end of the line here? Your
Mom and Dad, the end of the road.
Yeah.
That was it, là. Là, on va un petit peu plus loin, là, cette heure-là.
When the guy would groom the road from the state with the big grader, he would turn, il élevait la blade au coin de la grange, là, and turn the yard and drop it back. This is where the town road ends.
Okay.
Au coin de la grange.
Right in your property.
Our driveway, yeah.
Yeah. And so they would maintain a bit of a road here with
Yeah.
a dirt
That's
road.
later years, yeah.
A dirt road.
83, and I never knew a place without a road. We had the road then, we had the road going to school. We always had a road.
Oh, okay.
A mile to school, yeah.
Yeah. So somebody from Fort Kent could come here
Oh, yeah.
with a car.
We done.
Yeah, we done bits and
Right.
Much later in life.
Yeah. How about in the winter? You rouvrais pas ça, ce chemin-là?
Oh
Hein?
oui.
Ouais?
Oh oui, le chemin était ouvert, voyons.
Aller à son Japon l'hiver?
Mais oui, il y allait à l'école ce monde-là. Les Sudègres, it would be a different kind of road.
About 2 miles on the road, that was it.
Pas jusqu'à Soldier Pond, l'hiver.
Well, they went as far as Dago. Where did Dago live? Blaiston?
Because I was
Blaisted, so
What?
après 2-3 miles on the road.
Because they went to school.
They used to in the old days,
They
là.
were horses, remember? But that wasn't good enough for a car.
Didn't they roll the road, là? Ils tapaient ça, puis ils took le road avec une charrue, là. You remember that?
In the winter?
Yeah?
On sait pas.
Not in my young days.
No?
Pas ici. Les
After Roland took over, probably.
les Toulousains, ils ouvraient le chemin avec, on appelle, c'était
Une charrue avec deux traces.
une charrue faite avec du bois, là,
Ouais,
homemade.
ouais.
Avec des
Le
blazes.
milieu était soulevé, là. Puis il y avait
Mais
juste
ça
pour
allait pas
passer
plus
avec
que
une
2-3
traîne.
milles, ça.
Now, how,
Plus que 2-3 milles de chemin.
Yeah.
we're talking in the 30s and 40s.
Ah, ben ça, là.
How often did you go to Fort Kent, to town? Quand you go to town, c'est là Fort Kent, pour vous autres, là.
After we were married, Dad would go,
No, but as kids, did you go to Fort Kent?
we'd go to Eagle Lake.
Eagle Lake.
I was closer with the boat.
So you never really went to FortEnt?
I did.
Not in my young days.
You did?
I did, yeah, plenty of times.
On the
She went
train.
She
By
went
the
to
car.
college, yeah.
With friends.
Ah,
Ah,
Not
okay.
by train.
quand t'avais 5 ans.
C'est vrai,
She can't.
you had a railroad here in Fort Kent a long time, in Eagle Lake a long time ago. The
Because
railroad.
of the mill?
Yeah. 1903, I think it came to Fort Kent. It came to Eagle Lake before that, I think.
Probably. So I went on the train to Fort Kent.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was 14 or 15 or 12 or 13. En tous les cas, j'ai gradué de Fort Kent in the high school.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So that's how come I know a lot of people in Fort
Yeah,
Kent. Because,
yeah. Now you live in Ashland.
In Ashland, Maine. And my husband, Morris Saucier, passed away. He passed away in 1994.
Maurice Saucier.
Oui.
He's from Eagle Lake too?
Oui, mais il y en avait deux Maurice Saucier d'Eagle Lake. Il y avait Maurice Saucier, là, qui avait l'IGA Van Buren.
Oh, yes, yes,
Il vient
yes,
d'Eagle
yes.
Lake.
Right.
Okay. And then Morris Saucier, my husband. We had 8 children.
Really?
8 children, and I raised 10 because 2 of my nieces, they were the youngest one of the family, and the mother died. So I took them over when we got married. Imagine now. You're getting married, and a month later, you got 2 kids.
Well, it sounds like today. That's what happens
5
today.
and 7 years old. In
Oh,
fact,
boy.
Their oldest brother lives right here. There's another one of the
the
family.
road from
That's
us.
right. She's got 2 sons who lives on the farm. Oh, you know, on the farm.
The
And
brother of the little sisters,
that I
he
raised.
lived with us 10 years, and he lives across the road over here, right behind the barn.
Comment il s'appelle?
Kenneth Willett.
Kenneth
He
Willett.
travaille au nursing home à Fort Kent.
So people would take care of themselves.
Very.
Pretty much.
And nobody was ever put out and say, viens pas me tanner d'être là. You took them in.
My husband, like I said, this is my 2 little nieces. He
So you
he
just get
allowed-
married.
Yeah, on a attendu un mois, parce qu'on a été les chercher. Ils ont resté suspects puis Vernies, là, jusqu'au temps que, about, what, a couple of months?
Pas de toilette?
Vernies, oui.
Pas de toilette à Fort
Oui.
Kent.
Ils ont échangé les sites puis là. Ma mère a pris soin, parce que Cynthia, ils ont pris soin. Après ça, la maison a brûlé, puis là, ils ont été séparés. Elle a pris le plus vieux. Elphina, ma soeur, qui était mariée avec Edwin Thériault, parce que plus tard, elle a marié Patrick Bélanger. Elle a pris 2 petites.
Il y avait
Mais-
8, hein.
Oui.
Comment est-ce qu'il y en avait? 8?
8.
La mère est morte.
Oui.
So all the kids were taken care of by relatives.
Separated
Family.
among the
Ça
family.
fait quand on s'est mariés, là, nous autres, j'ai pris 2 petites. Ça fait qu'Elphina en avait assez, là, où elle en avait 4 enfants, puis elle a marié Pat, lui, il en avait 5. Là, moi, j'ai pris. You know, you help yourself, right?
Holy jeez.
Ouais.
That's fun.
Bon,
Il y en a qui en avait 6, puis l'autre en avait 5 qui sont mariés. Ça faisait 11, c'est là.
non, 5 puis 4.
5 puis 4.
Ça aurait été 6 parce que les petites, mais je les ai pris, là.
Ah, OK.
Mais in between.
What a difference, huh, from today.
Oui.
I still that today, they say if we have 2 children, on ne peut pas faire de ça.
Les enfants-là sont élevés comme frères et sœurs, les 2 familles.
Oui.
C'est ça.
So here you are, newly married with 2 5-year-old kids
Yes.
about. Puis ton bonhomme, he doesn't mind.
He allowed that. I don't think too many husbands today would dire on peut
No,
pas.
not
On
today.
peut pas l'afforder, on peut pas.
No, not today.
But you manage.
It's not because you were rich or anything.
No, no. He would bring home $50 a week.
So what was he doing?
A Great Northern was a clerk for the Great Northern.
Oh, okay.
And then when he passed away, he was superintendent of clerks when he passed away in 94. But he had retired, right? He had retired in 89.
Well, you were living in Ashland all that time?
Yes.
So you moved, as soon as you got married, you moved to Ashland?
Yes, because that's where he worked.
Okay, you
He
spent your
worked-
whole life
He
there.
worked in Sheridan. So my children were all born and raised in Ashland. That's their home.
Now, you just mentioned Sheridan. What is Sheridan? When we go down Route 11 and we cross the bridge,
You go up the hill.
where's Sheridan?
There's a crossroad now.
Why?
You would, let's say you're coming up the hill, you would take a left. 2 miles up that road is Sheridan. Years ago, when my oldest sister worked in Sheridan, Sheridan was the place to be, not Ashland.
Really?
Sheridan, because of the mill. There was a mill there. And there was a loading plant. You know what I mean, a loading plant?
Next to the railroad?
Yes. And then il y avait des magasins. Là. That's where it was.
Okay, let's go back. We're coming down from Fort Kent. We
You come-
cross the bridge.
Yes, go up the hill.
And you take a left,
Take a left.
which I've never done. I never knew there was anything there.
Il y a des quelques maisons. Là. Il y a
plus
pas
rien, là.
grand-chose. Ça a tout mouvé à Ashland.
And if you go straight, where do you go? Caribou?
Yes, Caribou, Washburn.
Okay, and
You
if
can go
they,
Prescal through there too.
yeah, and you take a right, you go down to Patton or something.
Yes.
Now, if you don't cross the bridge, if you stay on this side of the river, where do you go? There's
You
a...
keep on going straight, tu
Yeah.
pars Garfield, ça fait le tour, ça l'ende à Messardis, and then on, that's Route 11.
Garfield and Messardis.
Yes.
Now, do you remember Messardis when it was a growing place, a going place?
No,
Là, il n'y a rien, là.
We moved there in 1956 when we got married.
Messardis was big at one time.
Was it?
It was,
Chapeau,
well,
là.
yeah, from what I hear.
Chapeau, là.
C'est comme Sheridan. C'est quasiment, il y a quasiment plus
C'est
rien là.
intéressant, par exemple, comment ça change. Hein?
Ouais. Now, Ashland's what today? Is it not much bigger than Eagle Lake?
No, but on a high school,
All right.
we do have a high school, the mills are closing.
Yeah, yeah,
And so people are moving away. What are you going to do?
yeah.
Out of my, let's say, 10 children, the two girls, my two nieces, c'est comme des grands sœurs, big sisters to my kids.
You raised them all the way
Yep,
till they left home.
yep.
You call her mom.
And they called me mom. When we were first married and they moved in, they wanted to call me mom, but I didn't want that at all. So I just married. And I got a 7-year-old girl and a 5-year-old girl, but voyons, way, you know? No.
Quel âge t'avais?
J'avais 23 ans.
23 ans. Well, it's quite a thing, huh?
Yeah. So anyway, today they call me mom. I'm mom to them. When they
Yeah.
come home, it's home.
Now, they were the daughters of who? Là?
Roderick, my oldest brother.
Okay, they were your brother's daughters.
Yes.
Puis il y en avait 10,
Il y en avait 8.
8, and you took 2 of them.
But I was going to say, out of the 10 children that I raised, I only have one son living in Ashland. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
They all moved away for work.
Yeah, well, that's the story of the St. John
Yeah.
Valley.
Yeah.
I think we populated Connecticut.
Yes, we did.
In New York.
Yes, we did.
Mais ça n'a pas de bon sens. Tout le monde y avait ici.
Oui.
I remember in Saint Agathe, you know, I came home, I was going to St. Francis High School. I came home at Easter. My neighbor with 9 kids was gone to Connecticut. When I came back in June, the next door neighbor with 10 kids was gone to Connecticut. Never saw them again. We're talking 53, 54. Là. And that's the way it was. Des familles de 10 s'en allaient à Connecticut. Now they don't go there anymore. They go to Portland now.
Really?
Yeah, the kids, my daughter's in Portland, and most of the kids are in southern Maine. Connecticut must have changed a lot since
ça a
those
changé.
days. Yeah,
I worked there 2 years, and I go back now, and I'm lost
yeah,
with the urban renewal and the highways going through the city, and
Yeah.
I'm lost. But I want to go back to when we were young. We didn't have electricity, right? C'était fanal, non? Puis c'était une lampe à kérosène, and on venait des lampes à gaz.
I got gas lamps, you're too little.
L'après-midi, là, quand on arrivait d'école, là, mon frère voulait qu'il sortait les vaches de la grange, puis il faisait un trou sur le lac, là, puis les vaches, ils savaient y aller, il y avait leur path, they'd go drink. In the winter. In the winter, yeah.
It's stunning.
'Cause there
On
was
parle de l'hiver,
Oh
là.
wait, there was no water. There was no water in the barn, see. So I remember Ernie do it, and he would make us help him do that. You know, he would make us help him clean the cows too. You know why? So then he would give us a ride with the horse and the sled, and he would set traps for fox, so we could go with him to check the tracks.
Isn't that something?
And we were crazy enough to do it because we wanted to go for a ride.
Comment est-ce qu'il y en avait de vaches?
I sais pas, 4 or 5 maybe, huh?
Milk cows, them milking
Enough to take care of the family.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
milk and
2 or
butter
10.
and,
chicken. And
People were self-sufficient, right?
yes we were, but
What did your parents need besides salt and sugar and flour?
We have big gardens.
Big gardens. Yeah, on parlait de ça tantôt, là. I think it was half an acre, the garden.
Oh, c'était un gros jardin.
Oui.
À Canada,
Yes.
maman tenait des 100 quarts de
Since you
de
raise our
tomates.
own dry beans,
Yeah.
You what?
our own
Les
dry
beans,
beans.
les beans.
You mean you
Our own dry beans.
Les
fish
beans,
are
clear.
fait des
Big beans.
what?
Oh yeah.
Vous récoltez des beans? See, I've never seen beans except in a bag, moi, là.
Really?
The green beans, when they come out, if you let them grow, they'll come this long,
Ouais.
and the bean gets bigger inside. Then you let them dry. Then they fall off from the
Ouais.
thing that they're in there.
C'est ça des beans?
C'est ça comme on fait des baked beans. That's what I'm talking about.
Is that right?
Quand c'était sec, ça, là, les côtes, ils venaient
Ça
sec,
défaisait
sec,
derrière
sec, là.
ça.
Ils mettaient ça dans une poche, regardez-vous. On les battait avec un morceau de bois.
Il y avait 2 morceaux de bois
Oui.
à manger avec un morceau de cuir. Là.
Oui.
Puis l'autre était supposé d'être swivel au bout de... On mettait ça dans une burlap bag, c'est une roche, là, puis on faisait... Puis des fois, le bâton nous prenait ici.
Après ça, quand tu rouvrais ça, tu sortais ça ramassait les coches, que les bines étaient dedans.
bines
Ça était tout vide, ça, là, les bines étaient dans le fond du sac. You know, they were smart.
You know, I don't, I never imagined that's where beans came from.
Yeah. Puis d'autres choses que je voulais dire ici, là, that was a cedar swamp.
This
Right.
place right here, yeah.
C'était pour les lieux, c'est des trappes.
We used to come over, my mother would send us to pick peppermint, wild peppermint.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Now it's a medicine.
Wild peppermint, and would bring that home, and she would tie it and dry it. That would make peppermint tea.
In the winter.
Delicious.
Really? Yeah, imagine.
Better than the peppermint tea you buy today. And,
Yes.
and that was good
Yes.
for stomach
We
ache.
don't see that anymore. I don't know where it went.
Maybe
About the team of wolves.
about what?
Les wolves, les bœufs âgés.
Oh, the oxen.
They had oxen
Yeah,
too?
we did. We did.
Tea
Yeah, we had. It was Buck. The names was Buck
and lime.
and Line. Where those names were picked up, I don't know.
Lion, eat lime.
But one of
So
my,
these oxen were used for work?
yes,
Like
yes,
horses?
to plow and whatever. Yes. Ah.
So the most that your father ever had here was, did you say 20 acres of potatoes? Is that all?
No.
Just about.
Farm was 100 acres. No, it wasn't all,
But
but
not all
C'était pas tout des patates, là.
T'as parlé de buckwheat?
Ah, buckwheat, yeah.
C'est vrai, on va parler des buckwheat too.
oats and barley and
Flies
buckwheat.
followed me in again.
Now, what would happen today if people would have to go back to that lifestyle? Let's say we have a major crisis.
Oh,
Il
no.
No, like
n'y a plus de ville, il n'y a plus
we
rien.
would be able to survive,
Yeah, but the young people
but
wouldn't.
not my children.
Non,
No.
ils savent plus comment faire rien.
They don't want to be bothered.
No.
They're too advanced to be bothered.
And a lot of the young wives can't cook and
Oh, my God.
don't care to cook
You
or,
have to buy everything, practically, right?
yeah.
We made our own butter.
Made your own butter.
Mom would make even the cheese, remember?
We sold eggs and chicken.
Mayonnaise, she would make meal.
Yes.
And in the summertime,
Very
I would dare
smart
say, in the summertime, 5 nights out of the week, maybe 4, 5 nights or 4 nights, we'd make ice cream, homemade ice cream.
Really?
We would have
Cream.
strawberry ice cream, vanilla ice cream. I remember we were making chocolate ice cream,
Banana.
maple
cocoa.
ice cream, on Patty did maple sugar.
We had a maple sugar.
Maple, we ate very well.
No, we never missed anything.
I think we did.
Never.
You know, one of the things I hear about people our age and older, they're pauvre,
Yeah, no
but
money.
they always ate well.
Yeah, no money.
We
Always
never-
ate very well.
Yeah,
If you ate your stomach full, you're really not poor.
yeah.
One day I said to my mother, on est pauvres nous autres, hein? I will always remember that. Elle dit, petite fille, quand tu te couches le soir, t'as-tu faim? Non, j'ai pas faim. T'as-tu frette? Non, j'ai pas frette. Ben, elle dit, on est riche, on est riche. T'as-tu peur que quelqu'un va venir te tirer au fil ici? Non, pas peur de ça. Elle dit, on est riche, riche, riche. Et le bon Dieu, il nous regarde, il nous watch tout le temps, puis il nous prend soin. On est riche.
Isn't that something?
Always remember that. And I was just a little kid. Maybe I was 6, 7, I don't know. Young enough that I'd go to bed with her when Dad would take off fishing.
Yeah.
And it was one of those nights when I was going to bed with her.
Wondering.
J'étais supposée d'être gâtée.
Le bébé, t'étais le bébé.
Yeah,
J'étais supposée d'être gâtée. Puis mon diable,
She's still a pain.
oui.
À cette heure, comment, were you all like a year apart, the 15 of you then?
2 years.
We're all 2 years apart.
Oh, yeah, il y avait 2 ans entre, là. Ouais.
Moi, je pense
Puis,
que-
Monsieur Ouellet, lui, là, qu'est-ce qu'il faisait à part, il prenait le bois, là, l'hiver?
La chasse puis pêche.
So you ate a lot of wild meat?
Yeah, and fish.
Fish, yeah.
We had
Don't
our
tell
own meat
again,
too
Morgan.
yet with the cattle.
Yeah, but let's say they kill the cow. You know, what do you do with the milk? Then you don't have the milk and the butter. You can't, you
Yeah,
know.
Mom used to make her own soap too.
Yes.
Is that right?
Sure,
Make her own
to
soap.
shear the sheep, we used to hold the sheep so she could cut the wool.
How do you make soap?
The recipe is on the can of lye. You know what lye is?
Okay.
That's very strong.
What's the name in French for ça? Lye? Hein?
Caustic.
Caustic, oui, oui,
That's
caustic,
lye.
yeah.
There's a recipe in that box. And you need some fat to
I don't know
do
if it's
that.
gas or.
Some animal fat.
Animal fat.
Sounds like that, right?
beef,
Animal fat and lye.
And lye and water.
We cooked that outside in a big, big.
My mom would
kettle.
do that in a big kettle while I used to cook some potatoes there for the pigs.
Yeah.
She'd wash it real good and she'd do it many, many times. It was
What,
the best.
what did they put to make it smell good?
Oh, it didn't smell,
Didn't.
didn't smell good.
Not ours. It didn't smell
I
that
thought
good.
it smelled
It was not for the body, it was just for the laundry and
To
the
clean.
floors.
Oh, okay, okay.
Boy,
okay.
that wash makes a nice floor, right?
Oh, yeah.
With a brush.
Hey, 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 hey.
Talking
Just
about-
like she never washed our mouths with it.
Talking about potatoes cooked outside for the pigs, to feed the pigs. There was a great big cauldron outside, and summer and winter they cooked potatoes there to feed the pigs. Well, that was my brother, that was his job. This particular night, I have to tell him about the toboggan. Well, anyway, beautiful moonlit night, and we had, it was spring, we had some rain, and that crust was like ice. Beautiful night to go out sliding, right?
In the moonlight.
My father had said, don't anyone touch that toboggan because it was made to go haul sap from the trees to make us maple sugar.
Okay.
Moi, je vais essayer ça, hein. I wanna
Toi,
try-
ça?
Oui,
Oh.
they're bad, see.
T'as gâté.
I want to try that, and I said to my brother, let's go right in. Oh, boy, I'm not going to touch that.
someone else?
You're going to get killed, huh?
Someone else was there too.
Cynthia?
No, I wasn't here.
Elle travaillait au couvent.
I never got into trouble.
Yeah,
I
right.
never did things.
Anyway, I coaxed him into it, and he said, well, I'm not touching it. I'll take the sled that we haul wood in, and we got our 2 little nieces with us, the older sisters to the little girls that I raised, okay?
Oh, okay.
They were probably, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 years old. He's got one on his sled, and I've got one on the toboggan, and we're coming down the hill. Oh, what a ride. But I could not control it. You're going round and round with that toboggan. And there is a pile of rocks with some trees. Un gros boulot là-dessus, hein? Norma jumped. I should have pushed her off, but I got off, and she didn't get off on time. We hit that tree, and of course, the toboggan was made of hardwood. It splintered to a million pieces,
Holy boys.
and it knocked her out. She had a cut on her forehead. So now I'm crying. We're walking to the house, and I'm crying. I know I'm going to get killed, right? All I've got is a rope to pull the pieces that was hung up to the rope. I walk to the house, and I'm crying. They're going to kill. He's going to kill me for sure, for sure. So we tell him about the toboggan. So he starts to give my brother heck because he's older than me. Should have
Yeah.
known better.
Yeah.
Say, Podby, it's me. He told me not to take it. He told me not to take it, but I took it anyway. Well, that was the end of that.
That's right.
Yeah, that was the end of that. There was no more scolding or
C'est vrai
anything.
que t'as gâté.
Got the baby.
But that's a famous story about it.
Well, you're lucky nobody got really hurt, hein?
Oh, yeah. Huh.
Et la croûte, là, quand tu rides là-dessus, là,
Oui,
c'est dangereux,
c'est
ça.
comme de la glace.
And then if you go through it,
Yes.
ça peut te couper.
Oui,
C'est pareil comme un
All
couteau.
around, tell him about the bobsled, quand on se faisait, là. C'est ce qu'il savait qu'on faisait drôle.
Oh, you know what that is, a bob?
Bobsled, yeah.
No, not a bobsled, a bob.
Oh,
We call
yeah.
it a bob.
We didn't have
You
a
tell him,
sled.
come sit here and tell him about
That's
that.
what we were.
Yeah.
You put a piece of logs, got a net to it, and a little seat
On
on top.
prenait une
That was a bob,
sled,
not the sled.
un sled d'un corps.
Oui, oui,
barrel,
oui,
en
oui,
haut,
oui.
là,
Pork barrel.
au barrel. C'est comme l'air de même, ça, une planche de ça qui était brisée, là, puis c'était curvé un petit peu, là. Puis dans le bout sur la planche, il y avait une slot, là, les deux bouts. On prenait une bûche de bois qui était grosse de même, puis on clouait ça après ça, là. Puis il y avait sa planche-là avec un poteau, là, puis on mettait une autre planche de même qu'on pouvait s'asseoir dessus. On prenait une broche, là, on la passait dans le bout, tu sais qu'il y avait une groove, là, puis on la tordait pour qu'elle s'aérait. Puis ça venait après l'autre machine,
Le poteau.
le poteau, puis on mettait ça, puis ça levait le bout comme une
Ah,
spille,
ok,
là.
ouais.
Après ça, on mettait une petite planche dessus, puis une bonne journée, dessus la croûte, là. On montait dans le haut, puis on se mettait comme ça, là, les pieds dessus de balle, puis on se lâchait. Puis on descendait la côte avec nous dedans, là. C'était le fun!
Strictly balancing thing.
Il appelait ça des bobsleds, je pense.
Not a sled, it was just a bob we called it.
Ouais, c'est dangereux, ça.
C'est avec une lisse.
Yeah.
Il y a des fois, ça calait dans le croûte. On prenait
Et on s'amusait avec des vieux tires puis des vieux tubes. Puis, hein?
On embarquait des tires, là. Did you ever do that?
Non.
No? On embarquait des tires.
Puis Nagui il roulait ça.
We went down the hill.
Did you ever get scared to go down the lake?
It's a wonder we didn't kill it.
Oh, ouais, des fois tu l'aidais dans le lac.
On faisait dans le tailleur, les pattes choisies, puis on prenait les dedans du tailleur comme ça, là, puis ça nous roulait.
Come down the hill.
And you didn't know where you were going to land.
No.
We tried to get it against a tree because we were afraid if we went down the lake, my mother would kill us, you know? So, stopping in the bushes. And
Here we have the report of 2004 and 5, the town of Eagle Lake, with a picture of Monsieur Gagnon, hein? Hilaire Gagnon. And they talk about lived along Slab Alley. Qu'est-ce que c'est ça?
Il disait que grand-père avait déjà resté dans Slab Alley avant qu'il est venu ici,
C'est ça, Slab Alley.
Lower Main Street.
Lower Main Street.
Lower Main Street.
Yeah.
So, on va dire en avant de,
Tu passes le track as you go towards the old sporting camp.
Ouais. Towards, let's see, you see Fiddlehead's un restaurant, là.
Ouais, à l'entour de là.
Puis tu t'en vas, Camps of Acadia, what they used to call, là.
Yeah,
Ils appelaient ça Slab Alley, hein?
Yeah.
I wonder why. Do you know?
because of mill. And they would
Oh, there was a mill, okay. Ça, c'est Monsieur Hilaire Gagnon, who settled here where the Clover Hill Lodge was in 1873.
Right now, he's sitting in front of the little red camp up the river.
Okay,
6 miles from here.
yeah. Now here we have a picture of Imelda and Roland Toussaint, who
50th anniversary.
they were young, I think.
Yeah,
50th
were you ever
anniversary.
young? Yeah, I guess she was young.
Now, Imelda, I noticed that your name is spelled E-M-E. Puis moi, on my camera, I spelled it I-M-E.
It's E-M-E-L.
I hope you're not insulted.
No. A lot of people do it that.
Now, Roland, lui, là, il était le cousin propre à mon père. Roland Toussaint, là,
Close, yeah.
puis Madame Delima Sutherland,
Yeah.
puis Madame Cora Potvin, ça, c'est les cousines propres à mon père, ça.
Really?
Yeah, so that means that my grandfather, Simeon Chasse,
Through the chassis. Madame
Simeon
Toussaint
Chasse
avait
était le
fait ça.
frère à Madame Toussaint,
Oui.
la mère à Roland Toussaint.
Ouais, Médès. Ouais.
Modeste, c'était la sœur de Simeon.
Ouais.
Fait qu'Émile Chassé
Yeah.
puis Roland Toussaint were first cousins.
Right.
Isn't that something, huh?
Ah, it is.
Now, did you live here before Clover Hill Lodge? Where did you live?
I
You're
was
in...
born at the old homestead.
Non, mais quand t'as marié Roland, là...
Oh, we lived here. We took over the farm in 1947. Mom and Dad needed someone to keep on farming the farm. The 3 boys had tried and they couldn't make too much of a go. But we were looking for a farm at the time, so Mom and Dad asked us and we took over the farm.
So this was right here, là.
Not at the exact spot.
Non, mais you see que le lodge était là.
Where the lodge is, yeah.
I noticed that Roland at some point built a big potato house in Soldier Pond.
Yeah, it was already built, but it needed repair. It was really bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was a fairly big potato house.
It was a big job for him at the time. At the time, we lived in Wallagrass. We moved to Wallagrass in 1956, I think. When I was expecting Bertha, I had 5 kids that we have to travel on the lake to go to school. And Mom and Dad were with us at the time still. And it was not funny. It was not always nice on the lake. Roland was not always home, or Dad was out fishing. And I would have to take the boat to go take the kids to school and go get them. It was not always nice on the lake. So one day I said to myself, this is no fun here. We may have to move. More than that, in the spring, I was pregnant for Bertha. She was going to be born in December. And we had gone to church. Il y avait une retraite, là. Puis le prêtre demandait du monde pour porter Notre-Dame du Cap. She was a big statue on a float. 5 or 6 men to carry her, to put on the float, then drive her to Wallagrass and drop her to another parish.
From Eagle Lake.
From Eagle Lake. Roland voulait qu'il chargeait du stuff, du pulp sur les chars pour faire une pièce, puis il dit, j'avais quasiment pas le temps, but he felt obliged to, so he took the time off and volunteered to carry her. And the priest says, if you have anything that you want to ask this statue, put a little note at the little box on her feet, and she will pray for you. So I took a piece of paper, and I wrote, I'm expecting my 7th or 8th child at the time, Bertha, in December. And it's not always nice here. There was no other else living but us over here. Mom and Dad with us, and every time Daddy would have a heart attack, even in the stormiest days or the stormiest night. And traveling 5 kids to the lake, that's no fun. So I wrote to her, please help us find another home closer for the necessities that we need. So that was forgotten. In July, or early September, or August, Roland was cultivating the potatoes. And all of a sudden, this man showed up at the house. We never knew him. We never looked for anyone to buy. We never asked anybody where there was a farm, nothing. And Mr. Robichaud, Philippe Robichaud, comes at the house and he says, Roland just finished eating. He says, I have a place in Wallagrass we farmed. He says, it's going out. It's really ruined, but he says it could still be fixed. He says, I had my son farm for a couple of years and he just got up and went to Connecticut, and he says, it needs repair and it's going to get to ruin. He said to Roland, you want to come and see that? Oh, he says, I don't have time. It's going to be raining probably tomorrow. I have to pass in my potatoes. Take a minute, he says. Come on, take a minute. I'll get in my car and I'll make you an offer you can't refuse. Come and see it. It's true, it needed a lot of repair. Roland went to see that, and he was not afraid of work. Hey, this is one way to get out where we are. We can't live like this anymore, you know. Daddy always having a heart attack. You never know when he's going to die during the night or.
How old was your daddy at the time? Did he live long?
He lived. We moved there. We moved there 57, and he died in 62. Mom died in 61.
You moved
So
there
when
in
he
you mean Wallagrass?
Wallagrass, yeah. The big house about quarter of a mile from the church on this side. He said, my God, for the price, I can't really refuse that. But he says to Mr. Ribshu, he says, let me think about it. I have to talk to Mom and Dad first. He says, they never left this place here. I don't know how they're going to feel if we moved out. So he went. Now, how does this guy knew we were looking for a farm?
Yeah.
That always amazes me still to this day.
See how we knew. You know, of course.
The man that we asked to that.
That's exactly whatever she was. Come over
Anyway,
and still.
later in the afternoon when he comes back for supper, he says, talk to Mom and Dad, he says, this man that came today, he says, you would not believe, he has a farm he offered me for a price I can't refuse. He says, it's true. And he says, how would you think if we would move? We could come here in the summer just the same, but there the bus at the door, the mailman, the school bus, and everything, you know. Electricity, we never had electricity. And Mom and Dad were very pleased. They never gave us a hard time, and they really enjoyed it.
Really?
They lived there.
Tu veux pas me dire comment est-ce qu'il a payé pour ça, là? Cette ferme-là, là. Hein? You don't remember?
Couldn't remember.
Yeah.
He couldn't refuse something.
It was cheap.
It was a necessity.
But he did a lot of repair.
Of
He
course,
had to do
yeah.
another well, he had to redo a sewer, he had to do another piping, and Sora Ganya, or Oram Ganya, was working for the state with his big machinery at the time. He happened to be in the area, one of my cousins. He offered Roland to dig for his new piping for the well and the sewage, and that's how it was done.
So here you are, pregnant for your 7th or 8th child. You don't, not sure.
My eighth,
8th, Bertha.
Bertha.
Toussaint, who lives in Madawaska.
Yeah,
And she married another Toussaint.
yeah,
And they have a girl named Megan,
yes,
who's a top biathlete.
yeah, yeah.
She's traveling the world,
yeah,
competing in
she loves it.
biathlon.
She loves it.
Elle est smart de plein.
Really smart. And Chelsea is going to be a dentist. If she can do it another 2 years, probably she'll do it. But right now she's a dental hygienist. Yeah.
The other
The
girl.
older sister, yeah. The older
Chelsea.
girl, yeah.
So this is where we are now. We've got Megan all over the paper, winning,
That's nice, yeah.
and this is your
My
granddaughter
granddaughter.
in Madawaska.
She's
So
moving to the biathlon building in Fort Kent for the summer so she can practice.
practice in the summer. We're lucky to have that, huh?
Yeah, she loves it.
Now, how many children did you have?
10.
10. So this is your 8th child. You're pregnant. You're moving to
Yeah.
Wallagrass in
Yeah.
an old house.
Yeah, you know.
C'était pas beau, ça, là, cette
No,
maison-là.
terrible. But we felt we were in the middle of the people where we could get, you know, all the help we need. They're close to the church and close to the store. It was a big difference. Mom and Dad made new friends and the neighbors. They never complained. And when Roland would come here to work on the farm, he'd tell Dad. Dad would hop in with him and he'd take his boat and go do some fishing.
So the thing that amazes me a little bit here is that when your kids went to school in Eagle Lake, you had to take them there by boat.
5 kids at one time.
5
with
kids?
Kenny. Yeah. Donald was just starting half a day him. And he didn't want to walk up to the convent way up on Route 11. Yeah. Well, I graduated from this little school here in 1946. But I had to drive these kids across the lake. One time, I got in the boat, picked up the kids. I started cranking the boat. It would start, pull hard, and all of a sudden I was left with the crank in my hand. And about 20, 30, 50 feet off the shore, what am I going to do?
Oh, the boy.
I'm 6, 7 months pregnant, you know.
Avec les
And it
enfants.
was windy. Yeah, 5 kids in the boat. And I said, sit down in the bottom of the boat, don't you move. So I sat at the tip of the boat and paddled. Is it closer to home or closer to the town side? So I paddled to the one that was closest. And lucky enough, an old man was coming back from fishing. And and he took us in his boat and he drove us home. So Roland, when he was working in Wallagrass, Daddy had gone with him because he was cleaning and preparing the place to move in the fall. So I thought when he comes back, he's going to fix the crank because I didn't know how to do it. It was no fun at times.
So you're saying that you're in the middle of the lake there?
Almost the middle of the lake.
And this guy comes in with another boat,
Yeah.
and
He
you...
pulled the boat back to shore
They
and
pulled
we
the
got
boat.
in his boat.
À cette heure, Roland Toussaint puis Imelda, là, you guys are... This is your wedding picture here, huh?
50th anniversary.
Yeah, but this is when you were married.
This is wedding, Imelda.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is our wedding in 1946.
1946, okay. And here's the Clover Hill Lodge. Clover Hill Lodge as we knew it. How long did you have it, Imelda?
20 years.
20 years. And this was the old Willett farmhouse
Right.
from way back where you were born, where you raised most of your family. And then they Roland built a patio in back and a dance hall.
There's a large dining room.
Very popular for many years.
Over 400 family membership.
Yeah, membership of over
Groom the
400. Huh?
One way, 75 miles when he was grooming the trails.
Roland, sir. He was a top snowmobile groomer.
Yeah. And makeup, yeah.
OK, ça c'est les parents à Madame Roland Toussaint, Imelda Toussaint, Henri Ouellette, et Phoebe Gagnon.
Yeah.
Ouellette, and they had 16 children, and you had 10, and
15.
15.
Yeah.
But they were from a family of 16.
Yeah.
What a different life that was, huh?
It's changed. It's so changed. It's unreal.
Now, what got you to get interested in a Clover Hill Lodge? You mean you had a farm?
25 years. And we were hearing about snowmobiling is going to be big someday.
Oh, okay.
And Pete Daigle had one, and he was doing good.
In Sinclair?
Yeah, Sinclair.
Il appelait ça quoi? Maple Grove? Is it?
Yeah, Maple Grove, Peace Maple Grove. So we thought we'd give it a try. We had the farmhouse to start with. At that time, we still were in Wallagrass when we started here. We opened only on weekends practically. So we clear all the bedroom upstairs, we store all the bed stuffing in one room, and we put chairs and tables there to make places for people if a big group would come on weekend. We're mostly on weekend. And I was open Friday nights, all day Saturday and all day Sunday, and that was good. In that winter alone, we gathered over 200 family membership
Isn't that
till
something?
spring. So we knew it was
You remember the year? 74?
19
74? No?
We came back in 67, so 68.
68.
We came back.
So snowmobiling was just starting.
We were just starting.
So you were living in Wallagrass all the time. You had 10 kids.
Yeah.
And how big a farm did Roland have finally?
Or you would have 50 acres of potatoes with both farms.
Yeah.
One year would farm here, and he rotate with the farm in Wallagrass.
Okay.
And he bought other farms along the one we already bought there.
Whose farm did he buy? Do you remember?
Notice aussi, he placed it.
Okay.
Notice aussi.
Notice
Puis la
aussi.
terre à M. Robichaud qu'on a acheté, je pense,
Ok.
c'était le père à Philippe Robichaud. Puis la maison, et puis la grange.
Ouais.
On a acheté la ferme à l'auberge du chemin de l'Iso. Ça va jusqu'à la rivière, ça, là.
Okay. So eventually you had 50 acres of potatoes.
Approximately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Puis là, in 68, là, quoi, il était tanné de ça? Ouais.
He still farmed the year we built the lodge. He farmed that summer again, that year again. He farmed in the first year too. And he could.
Now this building here that you had, La Ouellette Farms, là,
Yeah.
which became the Clover Hill Lodge, you say in the winter it was closed? You lived in Wallagrass.
When we were away, it was closed.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now you had to open it year round.
Right. We moved there. We moved back in the fall when we,
Oh, okay.
that summer, the spring. In the summer we built there when we were away. Then when it was ready to move, we moved back.
So what happened to the farm in
We
Wallagrass?
sold.
Sold
Somebody
it.
wanted it.
Ah, OK. Puis là, c'était toi qui étais cook, là.
A little cool.
On aimait ton manger, on allait manger là. And you still had your kids there, some of them.
Yeah, they helped me a lot.
Yeah.
For entertaining and waitressing. Yeah, they help a lot. Cleaning the place, yeah.
Now some of them were into music, right?
Yeah.
Bertha,
Bertha was, yeah.
she
And
sang.
my oldest daughter played for us, Lorraine, for a long time.
Lorraine, yeah.
Yeah, the first years.
And
And we catered to weddings, any size of party there was, anniversaries, name it, class reunion.
and even though it was at the end of the road, parce que it's not easy to get to, it's
Yeah.
not on the main
You'd be
road.
surprised how many people from the Eagle Lake who would have their wedding here, because they'll just love the outdoors,
Yeah. And it's quite a ride from Eagle
Didn't
Lake.
matter to them.
No,
In the winter, Roland would keep a road on the lake, so we could come by car.
yeah.
At his own expense, too.
Yeah. Parce que if you live in Eagle Lake town and you want to come here in the summer, it must be 20 miles to go around the lake.
18
Is it?
miles.
18 miles.
One way.
One way, you would say.
Yeah.
stayed
And
away.
it's 2 miles more from here to Eagle Lake than it is from here to Fort Kent.
Oh, is that right?
We figured that out, yeah.
Yeah, I imagine when you get to Soldier Pond that you're closer to Fort Kent than you are to Eagle
Yeah.
Lake, yeah. So how much did you enjoy that?
I enjoyed my life. It was a lot of work and a lot of responsibility. About 3 years after we opened the club, there was a nice spot down at the lake. There used to be a nice potato field. That's why he built the campground after that.
Oh, the campground, right on
It
the
was another responsibility. It was nice though.
edge of the water, right on the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
That was a potato field there?
hmm
Isn't that
The
something?
level land was beautiful.
Yeah. When did you decide to go full time with the Clover Hill Lodge?
Oh,
Like
for
you could go there
almost
and
20 years at the lodge.
yeah, but I mean, you said just the weekends before. You just
Oh, when we lived in Watergrass.
Oh, okay.
Then in the fall, in 1968, we came back. They built the lodge, they enlarged it in the summer. And we had the grand opening in the fall of 68.
And you moved there,
Yeah, we moved back.
and you're open all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
44 hours a day. Closed on Monday, oftentimes we were open too. People would
Oh,
need
yeah.
some gas and
Yeah.
stuff.
And Roland started grooming snowmobile trails.
That very first time, the first people we got by snowmobile, there was no trails marked from
That's
St.
right.
Clair.
That's right.
So quite a few weekends, Pete would gather a big group and they'd come and party at the house. At the
Oh.
lodge. Yeah, that's even before we built it. Yeah.
So Pete Daigle would,
They
yeah,
groomed their own trail. They'd break trail all the way.
yeah, yeah. There were no trails at
No,
the time.
no,
So
was not organized.
they were like old woods roads,
Yeah,
and
I
they.
don't know how they did, but they find a way.
Well, if you knew
When
the
Pete-
territory.
You know Pete, and when
Yeah.
he says we're going, he'd find a way. He'd be the leader of the pack.
Now Pete, with his Maple Grove in Sinclair, didn't think that you were competing with him.
No,
he
no,
was happy.
He was happy. He even gave us some hints what to do and what to expect. He was very helpful.
Very helpful to you
Yeah,
because
nice guy.
this was a brand new business for you,
But it was not affecting him.
huh?
Too far apart. There was no way that was
No,
affecting business.
no.
Too far
Plus, it
apart.
probably created more interest.
Right.
You know,
I think he's one of the first who joined our club.
is that right?
Yeah.
Huh? I remember Tom Pinkham used to go to your
Yes,
place a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you decided to sell it after a while? 20 years, you
Yeah,
said?
after I hurt my knee, I had a torn ligament in my shoulder. I had a pinched nerve done, and the last winter I worked there, I wasn't tame. And I was getting discouraged, and I thought, I can't do this anymore. I can't. All the kids were gone. But that winter, I tried to rest in the afternoon, but there were always snowmobiling coming in and out, so I had to go back downstairs. And come spring, after we were done with the snowmobiling, I thought, I'm going to tell Roland, I can't go anymore. We said we farmed 25 years, and he had said we're going to do this for 10 years, and it's almost 20 years. And what are we doing here? You know, when you don't feel good, you hate your work.
Of
right?
course, yeah.
And I didn't want to end up and hating it. So come spring, I said to him, I can't do anymore. I have to quit. If you had said, we can't, I'd say, well, hire a cook and I'll just stand by and do the paperwork. Well, he looks at me and I could hardly tell him about my heart was right up here. He says, this is my last year, Roland. That was in 86. Really? You mean that? He says, yeah, I mean, I could hardly speak, my voice was shaking. You mean that? He says, yeah, I understand. You worked hard and it's not nice for you anymore when you're in pain and to work. But what you're going to do with your reservation, I had some reservation booked up for July till September, and I had a big smorgasbord the Memorial Day weekend from a nurse from New Jersey who had married a guy from Eagle Lake. There was a smorgasbord. I said, well, I'll get more help for that. But the 3rd, 2nd, and 4th of July, 2nd and 3rd, 4th of July was just a night wedding. That was not too bad. They didn't have to cook, just prepare the head table and the decoration in the hall. So we've done that. And the later weddings are coming up in August, September. I wrote the letter to all the members. You must have had yours because you remember to saying the doctor says I would have to quit. This is going to be my last year. So anybody, I had written down at the bottom how much you have left in the wall.
Oh, yeah.
During the summer, I was open just the same for business, but I'm not accepting anything big, you know. But I missed it though.
Yeah.
It took me a while.
So did you have it closed for a while before you sold it?
3 years.
3 years.
But the campground still went on though.
Okay, the campground, yeah.
I had someone take care of it for me.
Yeah. And now the campground, it was sold too.
It was sold in '89, yes, when we sold the club. That was all in one package.
Oh,
To the Brian Harper from Caribou.
you know, I don't remember. Yes, I remember that just a little bit.
They had a moving business.
Wait. Harper.
Brian Harper and Linda.
Yeah, I remember going there.
But they couldn't make a go of that. I don't know how and why they couldn't make a go of that.
And then what happened to it? How long did they have it?
They didn't have it 2 years.
2 years. Now,
They sold, I think the bank took over. Then the Michaud took over the campground, Terry Michaud and Linda,
okay.
and she ran it for a few years. Then Bob Martin bought it.
Yes, I remember
And he
that.
ran it a couple of years.
Yeah.
But they were running it public, not a club like we did.
Okay, no memberships.
No. And after that, Raymond Roy.
Raymond
bought it.
Roy,
He
yeah.
bought it from Bob Martin.
Okay.
And I don't know if they ran it 2 years. I think they bought in the fall and it burned in April.
Yeah, I think they had it a year and a half because,
Not very long.
no, not very long, but I think it was a year and a half because we had the Governor King came up there one time
Yeah.
in the spring.
Was
And,
it when the Martin had it?
No, that was with Raymond Roy.
Raymond? Well,
And then it was in the spring that it burnt, late
it's in
spring,
April. In April.
completely to the ground. And were you living there close by at the time?
We had moved next door, Bedette's place.
Yeah.
Not too long, we bought Bedette's place. There's a guest house that Ann used to live in.
Yeah,
We lived there 3 years.
3 years.
Because the doctor had just bought it and he was not around, so we were the caretaker for his place.
And were you there when the place burned down? You were not there.
We had just left to go to Cynthia. Where did we go one time when you were not there with Carl, maybe Norman, to go to Sedona and Arizona.
Arizona.
They had some timeshare unit there and
Okay.
we planned to go there. And we were up, because we would have been there that day. Every day we were there for supper or dinner, always. And that morning we were not. When we reached at the airport in Arizona, Julia Taylor, my niece, her daughter called her and she says, the lodge is burning. At the time it was doing.
Oh.
So they didn't tell me. That night, the group says, let's not tell them tonight because we're tired from the trip. We'll
Yeah,
tell them
yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah.
But my family says, don't tell mom and dad, they won't have a good time, and don't tell them that. It's not that. That's not what, it doesn't spoil me. I understood that. It hurt me though, but, you know.
Did you find out when did?
The next morning, when they call us to one of the unit, my sister and my nieces and nephews, they were all there for breakfast. I kind of thought something was fishy. They called us, come over for a coffee or whatever. And they all looked so serious and silent. I said, no, do they have any bad news for me? I didn't know what to think at the moment. Until said, we got some news yesterday. I don't know how he's gonna hit you, but the kids still don't tell mom and dad. Let them have fun on their vacation. You'll worry for nothing. I'm glad you told me. I
Yeah.
understood. It felt a little hurt, but I didn't make a, big.
That
big
was
thing out of
that was it, huh? That was the end of.
Yeah, they only told me the next morning. Well,
Wow.
I had a lot of emotion going on in me, and I didn't care to think about it, talk about it for a while. But then I got over it.
That was a big part of your life. You lived there, were you born there?
For a long time, when we came back, I couldn't look that way. I looked towards the lake all the time. I didn't
Yeah.
feel like,
Oh yeah, that must have been
sad,
good.
my homestead, yeah.
Oh yeah, oh my God.
But you gotta live on.
Yeah,
Nothing lasts forever.
nothing you can do.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you do.
I'm
But I
still.
treasure the moment, the years we were there. We enjoyed, we worked, we enjoyed the people. And I don't regret what I done.
It was very popular place.
I don't regret my life there. I was happy.
You know what amazes me the most here
What?
is you putting your kids in a boat, taking
Yeah.
them to school in
Yeah.
Eagle Lake.
Yeah, and it's not always nice there on the
I
lake,
know.
the big waves. Yeah.
Were there
Well,
days that?
we were brought on the farm and we were strong and in
Yeah,
our mind and hearts and strength we had. We were all brought up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for coming to the end. We've been here another nice 2 hours
Yeah, probably.
talking to you and your sisters, and we might do it again because I know we have more to talk
There's a
about.
lot. There's a
I
lot.
just want to say goodbye to Sister Gloria over there.
Hello, goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you for talking to me,
Well, thank you for being here.
Yeah,
and
there's-
that was a wonderful story. And Cynthia,
Cynthia,
right there from Connecticut,
she's the quiet one.
she's the quiet one. The
Selma.
Thelma from Ashland.
The baby of the family.
I'm going to go out, and on my way out, I'm going to take a picture of the barn.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. Yes.
And then what I'm going to do is give Imelda a copy of this tape, and
Okay.
you can all enjoy it.
But I'm sure
Thanks a lot.
Liza will want to have one.
Definitely.
The honor.
She
yeah.
called a couple
Yeah.
of times.
Did
Thank
take
you
a
very
photo
much.
of the pictures over there?
On n'a pas eu le temps, là. On fera ça une autre fois.
Okay, I'll take him home with me.
Yeah.
Next time when you come, you can. go
OK.
with them.
I want to get the barn in there.
Yes, oh, definitely.
Si vous arrêtez de parler, là,
I don't think you will ever stop, so you'll have to say, well, excuse me, this is the time.
Well, it's just a little tip of the box there.
But
There's more to come,
oh, yeah.
But he's running out of tape, and he wants to save a tape for the barn.
So this is the barn we were talking about on Slybrook Road in Eagle Lake. You can see this used to be known as Clover Hill Drive, and this is the road that we go to the Clover Hill Lodge, and the Slybrook Road would continue this